Hi, Marie.
Hi, Kat. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Very excited about what we're going to do today. Our
Yeah,
bi-weekly tarot reading where we don't know where we're going to end up. So it's always
exactly.
super
We're
like, woohoo.
letting the cards decide. Let's
Yeah.
have a look. What is the theme for today? Aha. Ooh, it's a beautiful one.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Empress.
The Empress.
And you know what's so cool is I do find that this is really perfect for this time of season where I do find that it's like, we're getting out of winter. It's definitely still winter, but I think we're all starting to feel that internal energy that's starting
Mm.
to like I am. I've definitely felt it, just even in the way that the light is, and
Yeah,
of course it depends on where you're living in the world.
yeah,
But if you're in the northern hemisphere,
for
I do
sure.
find that March is just this like regain of energy, let's say.
Mm-hmm. You know what I also see? It's like the tree has this pure white light within it, this kind of
Mm,
pure potentiality. And then on the outside, it's showing its colors, that's what it's
mm,
showing to the outside world. And to me, the first thing that came through is like that's what we do as humans too. We're like this beautiful pure light of just like tremendous immortality and our higher soul and so on and so forth. But then we wear the skin with like a
mm,
shirt and earrings and so on. And that's what we show to the world. So this tree is showing that beautiful red color to the world. And then just one more thing that I'm seeing is, because we have the equinox coming up very soon in Aries, I see that fire in the tree, that fire of
mm,
Aries.
mm. Interesting.
Mm,
Totally. I definitely see what you're saying about the colors. And also it's just, but it's true. And also it's just lighting up this night. I think that that's also something is about, well, because the Empress is all about basically fertility, creativity, like divine feminine. And it's also, that's why it's also linked to the night and the moon and like our intuition and just kind of being in touch with that. And, and I was listening to something recently and it was just talking about how a lot of people have been spending so much time getting to know themselves, like by meditating and being still and kind of like coming within. And that it's also now time to bring what we have learned at that moment of stillness and solitude and like now start shining it out and kind
mm,
of like bringing it it's almost like that moment of maturity has kind of like culminated and now it's time to also use what we have learned inside by ourselves
mm.
and start shining it outwards. So I
Wow.
thought that was really
You know,
interesting.
that resonates so deeply within me. It's almost like I'm getting goosebumps because the way that I'm sensing the energy and the how should I say how, where we are as humanity right now is we're very much there, exactly what you explained. Like we've been working so much on ourselves. We've been kind of, healing and building up this momentum and now we're ready to really kind of take off and
Yeah.
become this person that we've known that we've been inside for quite some time, but like fully showing it to the world now. And I feel
Hmm.
like, and also as a collective, we're all kind of, we're building this potentiality energy of that pure white light inside. And then it's like, boom, we're going to see a big difference because I feel like this season it comes every year, but it's also very different from many other years. It's like if you look at the way that astrology is right now, it's been 6,000 years since we were in this kind of similar spot. Yeah.
Okay,
So
tell me about that because I don't know so much about
yeah,
astrology.
so
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 let us know.
come March, when we have our equinox in Aries, we're gonna have 9 orbital bodies, like counting like some dwarf bodies and so on, in Aries, which is like unheard of. That hasn't happened in many, many thousands of years, right? And so when something is in Aries, it means that it's zero. Here's the beginning of the astrological year. Now is
Oh,
your
wow.
chance to do something completely new. So it's kind of telling humanity, listen, this is the beginning of the new era.
I love that.
It's kind of like, books are going to be written about this time. Like now we start over again. And so I
That's
think
super
within,
inspiring.
yeah, so within each of us, that card is telling us, yes, right? This
Yeah.
is now we start over, so to speak.
And it's funny that you say that because you were mentioning about these orange leaves. But what I like too about this card is a tree because the other there's the Empress and then there's the Emperor. And the Emperor is actually, I can show you, it's an evergreen. So it doesn't shed its
Mm,
leaves. It doesn't
hmm.
change. Let me just quickly find it.
Interesting. So the
And
emperor is stable, but the empress is kind of changing and upgrading.
yeah, but so it's interesting that you mentioned at the beginning the leaves that are kind of like um usually it's not so hard to find a conch.
Yeah, well, that's how it
Um
goes sometimes. How the leaves
uh
are expressing our inner world. Is that what you mean?
yeah, oh here it is. So
Mm.
this is the emperor and it's
Oh,
the
yeah.
and here's the empress. So it's the
Mm-hmm.
day and the
Mm-hmm.
night. And
Right.
both
And
have both have their
mm-hmm.
things. But what's interesting with the Empress is that there's the cycles, and so it's interesting that and so especially usually when you have the red leaves, it's the end
Yeah.
of a cycle, and it's
Yeah.
going. But so it's interesting that you're saying we're coming into this new beginning, which is
Mm-hmm.
lovely because it's almost like we're going to shed the old
Mm-hmm.
to then have this new.
Yeah, yeah. I
That's
mean,
the cycle.
technically, we're kind of in the space where we're right in between. We're right at the end, and we're soon going to be right at the beginning. It's sort
Yeah.
of, and because energy works, not one day it turns off and then the next day it turns on. It's kind of a floaty space right now where
Mhm.
we're both in this old space and the new space, which can be very
Yeah.
confusing to myself and other people. It's like, why do I feel like I don't have energy one day and then the next day I feel like I want to get going, right? So
Mm.
it's very, very
Yeah.
confusing energy because it's all mixed up, but we're definitely moving into like the new beginning space.
Yeah, it's like an estuary of like where where the river meets the ocean, and you just have
Yes,
this kind of like mixed sediments
exactly.
at that point.
Exactly.
Well, so what should we pick? Maybe we should pick a card of like how to prepare for the newness coming.
Hmm.
When did you say that these
So the
bodies are
equinox is on March 20th this year. It's,
okay?
20th, 21st, but this year it's on the 20th. Um,
And so is that when the new beginning starts, or that's when it like okay, interesting.
yeah.
For the next 9,000 years?
Who knows, right? Something like that. And
Yeah.
and I mean, I'm no expert, but people that I follow and listen to, that I believe deeply in, they've been talking about this for quite a number of years now, that this is the new beginning. And it's been
Wow.
foretold by prophecies, right? Like the
Yeah.
Mayans and the Hopis and so on and so forth. So it's not just a few people mentioning it now. This has been the truth for a very, very long time, let's just say.
Nice.
Mm.
Okay, so what are we asking? We're asking how to maybe because you mentioned let's pick two cards. Maybe one card for how to deal with the uncomfortableness of
Hmm.
being kind of not yet in the beginning, and then
Yep.
also like how to, maybe something to focus on for this new beginning.
Yep. I love that.
So how to help, well, four cards came out for how to help in the we'll do
We need
those.
a lot of help, huh?
We need oh God, oh my gosh. Okay, wow, that's so funny. So we got death,
Mm, of course. Yeah.
four of cups have already come up. And guess what? This one came up.
Of
I
course.
did put it back. I put it
Yeah,
back in
yeah.
the middle.
It's being called.
It being called, and then we got the three of cups.
Mm,
Okay,
that's
interesting. So
beautiful.
very, very interesting. Two big major arcanas.
Yes.
First of all, we started with a major arcana, and
Mm-hmm.
major arcana are basically, things, big lessons, big changes in our lives, but that don't just have an effect now. They have an effect like on a karmic soul level. So
Mm-hmm.
the effects that haven't like ripple down for the long term.
Yeah.
It's not just like something happening today, let's say.
Mm.
So to start with, well, I guess death, I guess that makes a lot of sense. It's, like it's almost like we also have to remember to, because, death means the end of something. It always promises the beginning of something else, but there is the end. And so sometimes we get attached to things and we can also have some time for grieving what we're losing.
Yeah.
So
And I feel
that's
that's
also,
exactly the space that we're in. We're grieving a little bit the things that we're losing, and it's hard to
yeah,
let things go. Even though
yeah,
death is such a beautiful thing because it's the birth
yeah,
of something else, but we fear these moments because they hurt so much,
yeah,
on like a personal level, it's like losing something, part of yourself or part of your reality. It's a big deal. So
it is.
it's completely understandable that we're fearful of this card, but as you said, it promises something new.
It always promises something new, but for sure, I think it's also like, whatever I've always learned things too is that I think as humans, we're always averse to change, even if like sometimes we um like even if it's uncomfortable,
Mm.
if it's like something that we know, we can sometimes get attached to it. Not because, but just because we feel safe there, because we don't know. The problem with this is that there's the unknown.
Yeah,
It's the unknown of what comes next, and that's why we sometimes prefer, even if it's not a great situation, we sometimes prefer what we already have.
yeah,
Um,
agreed. Let's look at the next one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And this one doesn't feel much
Interesting.
better, right? It's like we're
Yeah.
sitting there hoarding our things and
Yeah.
in, we're a little
The
scared and
moon.
yeah, and we're worried and the moon is shining, but we're still kind of in darkness, right? We're still
Yeah.
like not sure if we're gonna move forward or if we should stay watching our cups here or what we should do, right?
Yeah, this for sure. This one I always find this one, especially in this deck, it does feel like it's hoarding. It's like it's almost like
Mhm.
it's too scared to leave this to go up to the light. It's
Yeah.
worried of losing this so much that it's kind of like, eesh,
Hmm.
I don't wanna let that go. This card is also sometimes about like being offered things but not being interested in them, like kind of like weighing up your options. And I think that's what it is. Again, it's almost like we're back to the death card. It's like, well, what are we going to get? We don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. If we knew what we were going to get, and it's like if the unknown was certain, like it wouldn't feel so uncomfortable, I don't think. Because I think
100%.
sometimes here we're like, but we have these four cups, like what's going to happen to these, like am I going to lose all this?
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
not a, yeah, it's not an
Yeah.
always easy
Agreed. Agreed.
situation.
And then what's coming up in the next card, I feel like, is that, okay, trusting in the fact that we're eternal, because you have this
Yeah,
evergreen and you actually fundamentally know that you're always going to be okay. And you have the sun there that's starting to peek through because the other cards were very dark, pure black
yeah.
death. Very dark with some lightness, the little mouse there, and then now the sun is starting to shine through. It's like, well, there is a new beginning, there is
Mm,
a hope, and
mm.
there's always the eternal knowing of that you're going to be okay no matter
Yeah,
what.
yeah. Total. I love that. I love that interpretation of that, and I think that that's a beautiful way of seeing it. And I do love how you noticed the darkness coming, starting to. It's almost like the dark, very dark to
Yep.
kind of like.
Yep.
I'll put that one down for right now. Very dark to semi-dark and then light. I love that.
Hmm.
And what's interesting though is also this. The Emperor is all about structure. It's all about structure and kind of like authority and boundaries. And I think that maybe is also a clue to what can help us right now during this moment of confusion, is to
Yeah.
remember that like sometimes we need to give ourselves the structure and the kind of like the not rigidity. A lot of people have issues with the emperor, but I love the emperor. I think the emperor, especially because it's just this big tree, and when you have that strength. And so I think it's about remembering your own strength, but it's also about doing things that can get you back to your own strength. What is
Right.
that? Is it by
Yeah.
doing your practices like meditation or journaling or walking or doing a hobby that really, that grounds you back to
Mhm.
your, brings you that structure. And I think it's about not forgetting
Right.
to
So
to do
as you're
that.
moving through that death and hoarding and being scared of letting go, really remembering that if you center yourself, if you, because to me, that tree is very balanced too. You know,
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
balance yourself and you reach toward the sky, you know, with your daily meditation practice or whatever it may
yeah.
be, you can still be centered even though your world is falling apart.
Yeah, yeah. It's to
And that,
become your own tree, to be,
yes.
it's almost like to also find structure and stability in yourself and not outside. And
Yeah.
to remember to keep coming back to that.
Yeah.
That's definitely, yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you for
Yeah.
that.
And if we
And
move to
then,
the next card, the it's beautiful brightness. I love this card. It's like
and it's,
brand new
yeah,
day. Birds
and it's
on
interesting, a bird that died to a
yes.
bird, to three little birds too.
Yes.
And also, especially like as you mentioned, the sun from this is like that was kind of obscured,
Hmm.
is now completely radiant.
Exactly.
And
And what's happening in this, you know, we had the little mouse on top of the cups because it was so worried about losing whatever's in there. Now these birds are looking at the sun. They're not even paying attention to the cups of, you know,
yeah,
because they
yeah,
know they're there and they're
yeah,
fine with just soaking in the sun of the newness of the new day. So I think the
it's so
progression of
beautiful.
these cards is like, it's
It's pretty
absolutely
spot
perfect.
on. It's amazing progression of the cards
Yeah.
with the lights and like the darkness to color, and
Hmm.
also this dead bird to actually more, it's interesting too because this card is all about community and celebration, and
Mm.
I think that's another clue too right now is to, like, for example, to reach out to the people who do bring you good and who do make you forget about the cups and be able to just concentrate on the good and the gratitude and the things that are going well, and just to remember right now, as much as things are chaotic and stuff,
Hmm.
that you don't have to be alone. You don't have to go through it alone, but it's also, I think, about building the community that you actually want to be building in this
Hmm.
new chapter.
Yeah.
So,
And also remembering that all the beautiful things in life is actually free. Like the sun
yeah,
is free.
yes,
Being with your
yeah,
friends is free. You know, having communion is free. Like, you
yeah.
know, that all those things that we truly, truly appreciate, they are free to us and we can do them even though we might go through a financial difficulty or whatever is
Mm.
happening in our lives. There's still so much beauty that we can hold on to that it's absolutely for free for us.
I love that. That's such a good reminder right now, is to remember that there's so many things and to concentrate on the things that are in a way that are priceless. Because those are the
Priceless.
things, like, people run after a lot of things, like whether, it was money or just this, I don't know, like certain things that appear really great, but what are the
Mhm.
things that you really bring you that community? And
Yeah.
as you say,
Yeah.
it often doesn't entail you having to run across to the other side of the
Hmm.
world
Yeah.
and go to these crazy places. It's often very much more close to home.
Yeah. And you know what I
So,
just realized as you were talking? In the first image, there's one bird who's dying. So, like,
yeah,
you feel very alone, and that
yeah,
part of you dies. But the part of you who is wanting to be in communion is now alive. So, it's like
yeah,
you go through this darkness and it feels very lonely. But what you can see in your future is you're going to meet new friends, meet new people, and you're going to be very
yeah,
much part of a context. So, I feel
yeah,
like these cards are giving us a lot of like, hope, you know?
yeah, I agree. And so maybe to finish off this reading,
Yeah.
we just want one more card just about like a message of love for the new beginning,
Yes.
for this new beginning that's starting soon, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Message of love. Okay, we got two cards. Interesting. We got the Mother of Pentacles
Mm-hmm.
and the Eight of Swords.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So, to begin with the Mother of Pentacles, that's all about really being grounded and nurturing to yourself. It's like almost mothering maybe the inner child that's very scared right now,
Yeah.
with everything that's changing. And just to remember, in a way, I find it goes back a little bit to this one, which is do a lot of things that kind of center yourself. Are you hearing that?
No.
Okay, good. Um, doing things that ground yourself and that nurture yourself, to
Mhm.
remember that like in order to be strong, you need to really also make sure that you give yourself those things. I think to me it's like good food, good sleep, good work ethics things,
Mhm.
and yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I love
sometimes
that.
I feel like we think like, I hear people say sometimes like, oh, well, I'm going through a really bad time, so I'm just gonna pamper myself by, doing things like watch TV and eat ice cream. And there is a time and place for that, and there's nothing against that. But sometimes actually those things disharm harm us more afterwards. We think we're helping ourselves and like kind of giving ourselves a break, but actually it's not that helpful. So just to remember that like the more healthy options, as hard as they can be, are sometimes actually going to help you in the long run, let's
Yeah,
say.
agreed. And just following along with your thoughts there for these two cards, what I'm seeing in the cards too is that it's like we're always being held. You know,
Mm,
the baby there is like being held by its mother, who is keeping watch and making sure that it's safe so that it can sleep
mm,
and rest.
mhm,
And then the other seems to be like a caterpillar who's turning into a butterfly, and that is completely held and safe, even though you have all those swords there that, could
mm,
potentially hurt it, but it's completely safe. So it's like also the message here, I think, is no matter how insecure or how unsafe you feel like in your life, as all these deaths are happening and you're a little nervous, you're always constantly being held by the universe
yeah,
who created galaxies, who created, everything that we see around us. Guess what? It has your back too.
yeah, yeah. I love that. I love that the idea of being held, and I think that's true because this card is sometimes about feeling trapped, but often it being in your head and remembering that you have the capacity and that you have that you can, like, to me this is, since it's a message of love anyway, it's just to remind you that even if you do feel like there's all these swords coming after you, that
Mm.
you are held and that it is safe, and that it is also that it's safe to remember that a lot of your traps are in your mind, and that when you work on them, so when you give yourself the love and the kind of the nurturing that you need, then you can also actually, spread your wings and with safety and be liberated, because I think we all
Yeah.
want this caterpillar just to go like
Yeah, exactly. Stretch out. Yeah.
stretch
And I
out.
heard this beautiful, somebody was talking about how, we think it's so amazing when the caterpillar turns into a butterfly, oh, what a
Yeah,
beautiful thing.
yeah.
But it's like, but actually what the caterpillar wants, it wants to be a flying caterpillar. Like,
Mm,
the caterpillar doesn't want to turn into mush and become nothing and then turn into something completely different. That's
yeah,
extremely scary, right?
yeah, yeah,
So we get trapped in the space of wanting to be the flying caterpillar, but that's never going to happen. We have to disintegrate, part of us, become mush, and then turn into a completely new creature to
you do have
die.
to die.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's interesting because I agree with you. I love, love, love the whole metaphor of a caterpillar with
Mm-hmm.
that transformation from a bug, to something that's beautiful and flies and is
Yeah.
so airy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that there's definitely, yeah, the message of love is just that you are held, and that also that you have already in a way become this caterpillar.
Yes, exactly.
You're already there. The new beginning is there.
Mm-hmm.
And these swords are a lot in our mind, and that they will also kind of like fall away, and that you're safe from
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, thank you. Beautiful. I love
That
this
was
reading.
wonderful.
We have so much to look forward to. There's so much excitement in the air, and there is fear at the same time. Otherwise, it would be strange,
Yeah,
It's just the way that we're wired. But
I
trusting
agree.
and letting go as much as possible in this time, and just being okay with feeling a little worried about certain parts of you dying, but still moving forward.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also love this thing I heard that was just saying that, you can't be strong if you like, you can't be courageous if you're not fearful.
Mm.
Because if you don't have the fear, then you won't, it
Mhm.
doesn't, you don't even feel
Mhm.
courageous. And you can't be
Mhm.
strong if you don't necessarily have a little bit of the resistance. And so there is something to be said in that too, is that
Mhm.
like the fear is also part of what's going to make you feel courageous and also make you feel that liberation afterwards.
Wow. On that note, thank you so much for today.
Thank you. This was a wonderful reading. And I
Mhm.
agree. I think it's very inspiring.
Yeah. And for everyone to leave us comments, how they're doing, how is this feeling? How is this reading feeling? But also, like, how are you feeling in your life right now? Are you feeling trapped? Are you feeling like you're transforming? Are you feeling like you're already in the new? Because in the collective, we're going to have all these different feelings at this moment in time, and everybody's going to resonate with different things here. So
I
I fully
agree. I think
appreciate
we
that.
had the whole kind of like we had the whole like way of like we had this whole journey. And
Yeah.
as you said, different people are going to be at different stages.
Yep.
And I also think you kind of go from one stage to the next and you kind of
Mhm.
like as you were saying at the beginning of the call that sometimes you wake up one day and you might be like, "Yay, I'm like
Mhm.
the three of cups having fun with my friends," and then you go back to death, and you're
Yeah. In the same day.
like in the same hour.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Oh,
it's part of the process.
it
So
is. Thank you so much
thank you
for
so
this.
much, Marie.
And
This was wonderful.
we'll be back soon, right?
All right.
Yeah. Take
Take
care.
care.